Ferrari did not leave Monaco with a normal podium. They left with proof, pressure, and one dangerous question sitting inside the garage. Lewis Hamilton finished second in the SF26, and suddenly Ferrari looked alive again. Not hopeful, not lucky, alive. But on the other side, Charles Leclerc's race ended with brake problems, and that turned Hamilton's podium into something much more uncomfortable. Hamilton's reaction after the race was the part that made it serious. He did not sound like a driver shocked to be there. He sounded like a champion who had finally felt the car give him something he could trust. That is a big shift for Ferrari. Because when Hamilton starts believing in a car, the whole team starts listening differently. But this was not a clean Ferrari breakthrough. It was a split result. One driver found rhythm, the other found danger. One car became proof, the other became a warning. And now Ferrari have to answer the question Monaco exposed. Did they find the real future of the SF26, or did they only find Hamilton's version of it? Hamilton's second place gave Ferrari the headline they wanted, but it also created the problem they cannot avoid. A podium in Monaco should feel like a celebration, especially with Hamilton wearing red and fighting near the front. But Ferrari could not enjoy it fully, because the same race that lifted Hamilton also damaged Leclerc's momentum badly. That is why this result carries more weight than a normal second place. Hamilton took big points, strengthened his place in the championship fight, and gave Ferrari a real answer about his adaptation. He is not just settling into Maranello anymore. He is producing, he is giving feedback, he is making the car look useful at the front. But Leclerc scored nothing, and that makes the garage picture harder. Ferrari are chasing Mercedes, and every lost point matters now. A team cannot fight for a title with one side rising and the other side searching for trust. Hamilton's podium proved the SF26 has pace, but Leclerc's retirement proved Ferrari still have a problem underneath that pace. The first warning did not come when Leclerc hit trouble in the race. It came earlier in qualifying, when Ferrari were close enough to dream but not strong enough to control the weekend. Antonelli took pole for Mercedes. Verstappen put Red Bull beside him, and Hamilton placed Ferrari right behind them. On paper, Ferrari were in the fight. In reality, something already looked unstable. Hamilton being third was strong, but the gap told the deeper story. He was close to pole, but not close enough to take control. Leclerc was also near him, which made Ferrari look strong as a pair. But Monaco is not only about speed. It is about trust. If the car changes feeling between practice and qualifying, the driver starts losing confidence before the race even begins. That is where the SF26 became interesting and dangerous at the same time. Ferrari had pace, but it did not look easy to unlock. Antonelli had the cleanest answer when it mattered. Verstappen still showed Red Bull's one-lap threat before his race collapsed. Ferrari were left in the middle, fast enough to fight, but sensitive enough to worry. Leclerc's Monaco did not fall apart because he forgot how to drive the streets he knows so well. That would be lazy analysis. His race turned because the brake problem became too big to manage. At Monaco, that is one of the worst problems a driver can have because the whole lap depends on trusting the car before the corner arrives. The brake pedal is more than a tool there. It is the first signal the driver receives before throwing the car toward the wall. If that signal feels wrong, the driver cannot attack normally. He brakes earlier, he turns in with doubt, he loses rhythm, and if the problem becomes worse under pressure, the whole race can collapse in one corner. That is why Ferrari have to treat Leclerc's retirement as serious data, not just bad luck. Hamilton was able to build a race. Leclerc was forced to manage a feeling that did not give him enough confidence. That split matters because the SF26 cannot become a title car if one driver trusts it and the other has to protect himself from it. Hamilton's post-race words were not just about happiness, they were a message to Ferrari. He made it clear the team had made progress, but he also pointed toward the next weakness. More downforce, better traction, more performance to fight Mercedes properly. That is the kind of feedback Ferrari needed from him, because it was calm, direct, and backed by a podium. That is what separates this moment from empty hype. Hamilton did not pretend Ferrari had solved everything. He gave them belief, then immediately raised the standard. That is exactly what a top driver does when he feels a car has a base worth building on. He does not protect the team from the truth. He gives them the truth while the result still proves he can deliver. But his message also creates risk inside Ferrari. If Maranello follows Hamilton's direction too aggressively, they still have to make sure Leclerc can live with the car too. Ferrari need more performance, but they also need a wider setup window. If the next upgrades make Hamilton stronger but leave Leclerc fighting brake confidence, the garage split becomes even harder to control. Antonelli's Monaco win kept Mercedes in command, but Hamilton's second place changed the Ferrari story. Before Monaco, the question was whether Hamilton could really turn his Ferrari chapter into something serious. After Monaco, the question is different. Can Ferrari give him enough car to chase Antonelli while also bringing Leclerc back into the fight? That is why the standings matter now. Antonelli has the lead, Hamilton is the Ferrari driver closest to him, and Russell remains part of the Mercedes pressure. McLaren and Red Bull are not dead either. Piastri kept McLaren visible, Hadjar gave Red Bull a podium, and Verstappen's race ended early before we got a full answer on Red Bull's race pace. So Ferrari are not chasing one simple target. They are chasing Mercedes while defending from McLaren and Red Bull, and they are doing it with a car that still does not give both drivers the same trust. That is the title problem. Hamilton has made Ferrari relevant again, but relevance is not enough. Ferrari need both cars scoring hard before the championship gap becomes too heavy. The real Ferrari story is not just Hamilton second and Leclerc retired. The real story is the setup window. Hamilton found a version of the SF26 that gave him enough confidence to fight. Leclerc exposed the version that still bites when the braking feel goes wrong. That is not a small difference. That is the kind of difference that decides how a team develops the next upgrade. Ferrari cannot take the easy answer and say Hamilton is comfortable, so the car is fine. That would be a weak conclusion. They also cannot ignore Hamilton's side because his result gave real proof. The smarter answer is harder. Keep the strengths Hamilton unlocked, then widen the car's balance so Leclerc can attack without feeling trapped by the brake behavior. This is where Fred Vasseur's job becomes bigger than normal team management. He has to protect Hamilton's momentum without making Leclerc feel like the car is moving away from him. Ferrari needs speed, but they also need trust on both sides. Monaco did not expose a driver problem. It exposed a development choice. Monaco gave Ferrari proof, but it did not give them peace. Hamilton showed the ceiling of the SF26. Leclerc showed the risk still hiding inside it. That is why this weekend matters more than a simple podium. A normal podium gives a team confidence. This one gave Ferrari confidence and pressure at the same time. Hamilton now looks like a real force in red. His second place was not a lucky result built from chaos alone. It was a sign that he is starting to understand what Ferrari need from the car. But Leclerc's race made the warning just as clear. If brake confidence disappears, Ferrari's pace becomes useless at the exact moment the driver needs it most. So the next Ferrari upgrade will tell the truth. More downforce is needed, better traction is needed, more stable braking is needed. But the real test is whether Ferrari can build a car that both Hamilton and Leclerc trust at the limit. Monaco gave Ferrari a podium, but it also gave them a deadline.